better say something about a little personal noticing of mine. So this is just related to something Jung said, which echoes something I've noticed forever. It's a very basic thing. Anyone can notice it, which is that America is extremely extroverted, and that anything that has to do with the subjective factor is to be dismissed. We are obsessed with buildings and clothing and only take something seriously if there's something manifest. No one is interested in ideas. There's, I mean, I can't think of anyone who is swayed by talk in America. Everything has to be made concrete for people, or they just will not take it seriously. So, take that idea from Jung, that recognition of our extroversion, and marry it to a sense of how we create, sort of media simulacra for each other and do these performatives on social media. Okay, I think we're scarcely aware of many aspects of our culture right now, but we're scarcely aware of what we're doing when we're using social media because people do not know what their mental economy consists of. They just kind of churn and burn without realizing what they're doing. No one, it would be very unpopular to sort of say, hey, isn't this sort of weird what we're doing? These like performances. I mean, people put very intimate information out about themselves, and they also put out information while pretending that they're not performing themselves. One way they do that is they'll say, had a great day with my friend Jenny, and it's this picture of them and they're on the mountaintop, and it's like, okay, you're not sharing that you had a great day with Jenny. You're sharing, look at my awesome life. I am just so awesome, and it's so obvious that it's that. But we just let each other get away with it. And it's the thing about the media we make for each other is we're doing it without paying attention to what we like about it. That's how extroverted America is. We're so insanely extroverted that every person who makes a post or whatever is just making an objective, divorced expression of themselves to present to others, scarcely aware of why or what enjoyments they take from it or whatever. Put it this way, we're constantly externalizing. We're never internalizing. And it's especially weird when we're doing it with things like moments of our lives. That's very odd to mine our experience and perform only certain socially approved aspects of it for each other, producing these pristine, just beautiful images and little quippy descriptions of our lives for each other. And all the while, mining our experience for those things instead of experiencing and living deeply. And I just find it profoundly sad. And the only time people will take ideas like mine seriously is when they're heard in a documentary. Um, they'll only believe it when they see it. They'll only believe that if it's externalized by a very fancy looking media company. People do not assess ideas based on the merit of the idea. They go entirely by the image, by how it's clothed and presented, which is fine. It's just rhetoric. But have we lost our sense of naivete, or not naivete, but like have we have we become naive? That's what I mean. Have we lost our sense of irony? You know, like the 90s and 2000s, I think sort of a concern, at least for literary people, was what do we do about being ironic, and can we start being sincere again? And now it's like we're being insanely sincere. We're putting out extremely personal things, and we're performing with zero self reproach, but it's fake. And so it's insincere. It's like this gross pseudo sincerity. And I think we'd be a lot better off if we would self critique and sort of just return to our down to earth animal selves and stop putting a sheen on every single thing we put in front of each other. It's what I'm saying is most people have no problem with it. They have no problem living their lives and having their separate spheres. And I'm sort of a sky is falling type, and because I'm such a like mentalistic theoretical person, of course these things bother me more than most people. But I think there is a problem when the masses of people don't understand what I'm saying. I think it's one of the less fictional things I could say about our culture right now. I think every person has an experience of some sort, like what I'm saying. So I'm very careful to check myself and just see if what I worry about is idiosyncratic. I think it's important enough for everybody to worry about. And the consequences of our inability to self monitor and understand the economy of our emotions and how states of becoming operate and how we do our psychological feeding. The way we fail to slow down and recognize the mechanics of that, it cashes out in real political outcomes. Real people do real physical things because of what they think. People don't know why they think what they think. It's a real issue. I want to say something about how weird our time is right now. There are many contradictions, many inversions that have taken place. The right wing is sort of revolutionary right now, but it's not revolutionary in a genuine way. It's revolutionary in this strange way, in a way that in a way where they are being steered by corporatist interests without knowing it. So it's pseudo revolutionariness. Again with the pseudo, right? It's almost like everything we look at now is kind of fake or pretending or performative. It's meant to steer you. Almost everything is manipulation. So the real problem is authenticity now. Of course, that's been a concern for marketers for some time is how do we put out a product that seems like authentic something? And they'll put out these like craft products because it's more real. Authenticity is the real issue for our I hate using the word era, because I'm 28. I don't know what an era is. I'm 28 years old. There's a lot of strange things happening politically that we do not understand. The sides and the factions are mixed up. They're mixed up because they're listening to media interpretations that don't represent how the world actually is. For example, the left wing is obsessed with identity politics and managing speech and stuff like that. Instead of actually helping people, they're doing these performatives. And then another part of the left wing is having to also remind everyone what truth is and what verification is and play epistemology referee for the entire culture. So there's a schism in the left of this ridiculous obsession with parroting and policing speech, following the form of things, obsessed with linguistics, and missing the point. And it's a left that's failing to help people who need help. and it's failing to dismantle corporatism. That's what I see as the main problem in our culture overall is both sides are failing to undo corporatism. Neither side is playing the role that they historically played in society, and we don't know how to handle it yet. All the terms are different now. The left is it's almost like the left is a weird left and the right is, well, it's still the corporatist right. It's just a lot more riled up now. See, the thing is, the right used to play a certain role of being a conservative safeguard of truth, of maintaining the Platonic ideals through history, right? Maintaining some attachment to the true and the good as the world degrades, right? And then the left represents the notion of a culture moving forward and moving toward perfection, right? These are two different roles that the left and the right played. And this is off topic, but I'd just like to comment that progress can move forward, but conservatism cannot. Conservatism, by definition, will find it impossible to go forward and do something new. But progress is, in fact, capable of conserving what is good in the past and moving forward. Progress is, by definition, it's a wholeness. It subsumes the dualism, you could say. It carries both. I don't know. I'm kind of stacking the deck. I'm formulating the conversation I want it to be formulated to make my point. But anyways, those are just some thoughts I have about the culture industry that we are in service to, which is supplying dialogues for capital and supplying ideology for capital and telling us that there's no such thing as class, trying to convince us that class is not an issue. Still, class is still the issue and corporatism is still the issue. We're all playing along. We really need to get a handle on it. And going back to the very beginning, I think we struggle with comprehending our interior psychological economy, and that's why we're getting the wool pulled over our eyes. We need to get our shit together.